One of the things, Truda, in the literature that I've read that you've written is that you had commented about the impacts of the domestic cat upon wildlife, and that was one of the reasons that these cats were created. Can you elucidate on that?
Certainly. I'm actually an ecologist by training, and it was always of great concern to me that my favourite animal, the domestic cat, was becoming number one enemy because of its depredations on our wildlife. And it seemed to me that the time would come when cats would need to be kept indoors and that they needed to be much more bonded to human beings to be happy with this life. After all, when I was a child, which is rather a long time ago now, the saying was, when you went to bed, you put the cat out. Now you bring the cat in, at dusk at least. And this is a whole change of attitude. And of course now there's a lot of legislation here in Australia about maintaining the cat on your property at all times. And as we all know, cats don't just stay like a dog because of the fence. And these days there's lots of elaborate housing, fencing, runs, very attractive constructions you can put in your garden and so on, so your cat can have some outdoor life, but is not of any threat to the neighbours or to the wildlife or in fact to themselves. So I thought I would set out to try and breed something which was very happy with this life, which some people might consider as rather constrained, and that was the primary motivation for creating the breed. It was just that I had seen that sort of breeds that would combine these features, which are the Euro-Burmese, which of course has a fantastic temperament, but I always found that they never grew up, and I actually like a cat that grows up eventually. And Abyssinians, which were extremely wise people, but terribly active, and I mean they only had to step their foot outside the house and they were up and away, and I really mean up onto the roof of the house and things like that. And of course with domestics, they have a lovely big gene pool, and if you're going to have a cat living close to you at home, you actually want a cat that's got not too many health problems, because these cats, because they're indoor cats, they're potentially going to live out their full lifespan. And I think you should work hard to make sure that it's a healthy lifespan and that this lovely companion that you buy and want to have for many years doesn't become an enormous financial liability. Even now, people spend more money on the end of lives of their cats than I think that they spend on the end of the lives of their parents, because they really, really do get so attached to them. So that was really my aim, was to make a cat which loved people, so wanted to be with people, which means it would want to stay indoors with the people. You didn't rush out the door every time you opened the front door, which Burmese had a terrible tendency to do. And they would at least come back, but Abyssinians wouldn't come back even. And I must admit there were a few times when I was an early Abbey owner where I missed meetings and classes because I was at home sitting, waiting in the garden to catch the Abyssinian kitten, because I was not going to leave until it was back under lock and key. I've never had that problem with an Australian mist.